Welcome back, everybody. I know it's been a little hiatus, about 2 weeks actually, since an episode came out, and there's a good reason for that. I didn't really want to put that out beforehand, let people know I'm leaving, but I've been gone for 2 weeks in Denver, Colorado, doing flight training with the company, the Metaflight company, and I kind of took advantage of it. It's super easy training, and so my family went down there, kind of went on a vacation and everything, so that's why you guys had the gap in the episodes, but now they're going to be back fast and furious again like they were before, and tonight can only be about 25 minutes. Michael's over here. It's been a little while since you've been on, so we're going to get back to it and talk about your hunt, because I've been gone, so for the first time I've only missed a couple openers for 20-some years. I missed deployment, so 2013. No, wait. When did we leave for Afghanistan? Actually, I think I hunted 2013. I missed the 2014 because I didn't get back till February. But so that's been 8 years since I missed an opener.
Wow.
So we're just going to talk about how it went for Michael's opener here in California. And, you know, one big thing we've heard the whole time was water shortage. And Michael's, we're not going to obviously tell where he was at, but he's going to talk about the water thing there. And then also before we get rolling, I also want to tell you guys about Motion Ducks. Don't forget that promo is still going on, and we used it on our last hunt before I left for Colorado, and it was the reason why we shot the birds we shot. So go to motionducks.com/MVM, and you will get an exclusive deal that's offered for our listeners and supporters and all that. And it's different. You can't... Man, Michael, you use that, right?
I use it, and I got the promo code, so I got the extra.
Yes.
10%
So
off.
you get a discount and then another discount. So it's not like, you know, you'll probably see codes floating around all over the place for Motion Ducks, but this is definitely better than anything that's offered out there as far as I know. So check that out. There was one other thing I wanted to say before we start rolling, but let's just roll into it. So Drew rezy. That's key, right? That's number one.
So first, I mean, this was my third season hunting.
Mm-hmm.
My first season, I would say that I have everything that I need to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Decoys. I had all my gear before, so I can go with somebody, but I never had like any decoys to take out there, so I couldn't just like.
You didn't have
I want to go.
the stuff.
I didn't have all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I could actually go by myself and not need anybody else there to help me supply, some gear or anything. So, not only was this my first time doing that, but this is also my first opener. I never been out an opener. So, everybody was just like,
I was excited
super
for
stoked.
it. Yeah, because that's the time you get to shoot the most,
Yeah, and I got a super low rezy, so that was exciting. I did not really expect that. I didn't know what I was going to do. So, I probably would have like held off because I just never been to an opener.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've always waited till December to actually start hunting, but I probably would have went out there and probably would have lotteried actually, because I've been more excited this season, probably because I had my decoys and everything I need.
Yeah.
So I have been more excited than previous seasons because like just I could.
It's just growing. It's the addiction's growing.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And it's definitely like hit me this season. So but what was I gonna say? I just went blank.
So first off, you drew a rezy.
Yeah.
Oh, and for an opener, that's like feels like impossible. I mean, I haven't drawn one. I think it's 13 years now. Like I keep counting down. It's been a joke because it's been so long. It might not have been that long. No, it has been, because the one I drew, I was thinking that was opener. It wasn't. It was the following Wednesday, and I was just as stoked about that. Not quite as many birds, but usually the Saturday in California and the Wednesday afterwards is about the best for the first part of the season, and then after that kind of trickles off, and then it begins to build as birds migrate down. Mm-hmm. But I did really good in that. So when I knew, if anybody I wanted to get a rezy, it was you, because I know you've had one hunt up north that was really good, and you got a lot of opportunities. But other than that, that's probably the most you've had, right? Besides your opener.
Oh yeah.
So, so did you say you did hold off, or were you just whacking everything that flew?
So yeah, me and another guy that went, we had Caleb Teenley had went there. We had held off a little bit because was early in the morning and
trying to identify.
Yeah, neither one of us. I'm definitely not good at identifying birds, and he was saying the same thing. He didn't know what we would be shooting, which is I don't know. Probably should just took some attempts, I guess.
Yeah.
But I guess this is the first day. I haven't shot.
And there's birds everywhere.
There's birds everywhere. We're just like, this is insane.
Enjoying it, yeah.
And then really before, like birds were just landing in our decoys and stuff like that right before shoot time. So we were just, it was that excitement that you get beforehand. And I was going to say was it just slipped my mind again.
It was that good. Huh?
It was that good. No. Okay, so I've talked about this with you. I may have said it on the podcast before, but like this season for me is going to be a season of like learning a lot.
Yeah.
And making a lot of mistakes.
But putting the effort. I think what you're saying, like kind of saying you've been saying that we've been talking tonight is like you're saying learning because it's different this time. You're actually trying to learn and put the effort in to learn instead of just randomly going with someone invites you and then just go out. Right. Now you're wanting to figure it out.
Yeah. And I probably like consumed more duck content over the last several months than I have in the past.
Yeah.
Because I need to know this stuff. I need to know just so many different things there's so many different things with duck hunting that you need to know before you go out there or if you want to be successful. And not every, obviously if you don't know all that stuff doesn't mean you're going to be a success.
No, right.
But at least you know what you're supposed to know. So and just different things that I've taken from you, just, when you have decoys out there and don't be afraid to move them if you don't feel like it's working out.
Yeah.
So just kind of try to remember all that kind of stuff and just
put it into play.
Yeah. And just kind of like just learning really. And I feel like that's what's going to be. There's going to be a lot of just a lot of lessons that I'm going to learn this season.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is that you want to learn and you're trying to figure it out instead of just go with someone else and let them do it. You want to know.
Oh yeah.
Like, and you're super smart. You're way smarter than me. Like all the stuff, all this technical stuff that you do is just like, so I feel like you're super analytical probably. And like you really catch detail.
Yeah.
And it's funny because sitting here talking about this reminds me of when our first podcast 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Well, 2 seasons ago. Before that,
before I even had a shotgun,
before you had anything, and we were all talking about it.
Yeah.
And some people you kind of know right away, like it's gonna stick if they do it, and then some people are like, I don't know, like it just depends on what kind of experiences you have.
Yeah.
I never thought that you wouldn't want to do it or do it and like, it's not for me. I never thought that, but I just kind of. You just wait back because I've seen so many people over the years. Like you kind of sit back and watch and like, what's gonna, and you got the bug now. Like no one's telling you to go watch this. No one's telling you to go out there.
Right.
You're doing it on yourself, and you're not going to wait on anybody.
Yeah.
To go like, well, if nobody takes me, I don't really want to go. It's like, you're not that way. You're
I don't really need anybody else.
Yeah.
What I'll probably end up doing, and what I ended up doing this for my opener was I did take my youngest. This is her first time duck hunting. She's 7 years old. So I just, obviously she can't shoot or anything like that. She's just a non-shooter, just out there for the ride. But that's kind of part of it too. Like I'm just gonna, when I go out there, I'll just take one of my girls.
Yeah.
And my oldest is already like she loves it. She loves going out there.
Oh, so, and has some serious stamina.
Yeah, she's got that crazy adrenaline that she just loves, just the action of everything. So
that's cool.
That's a huge driver too for me. Is like that's just another just like icing on the cake.
Right.
I know I always have her with me. And I'm giving her something that I didn't get when I was younger.
Yeah,
we didn't go hunting.
Right.
So I can hand that down to her.
That's cool.
So you got to start them sometime.
Yeah.
So
Violet just came in here and asked like when's she going next? I said, well, whenever you want to go.
Yeah.
She's wanting to shoot right now, and I said I'm gonna wait. Like you can shoot on the junior hunt, and actually that reminds me. I'll let you know too, is you can put in for the junior hunts locally in the SAC complex, but you have to do it a special way.
Okay.
So you might want to end up doing that if you want. If you want, and I don't know if she's quite ready or not yet.
Yeah, I mean,
Violet's. I don't know if Violet would get one out of the air, but if we could decoy one, I think she can. She almost got a coot last year. She had her license last year, but I wasn't. I was letting Viv hunt.
Right.
But Violet really has a drive for it. I finally found out Vivian, she didn't want to kill something.
Yeah.
And it's totally fine.
Oh yeah.
but I didn't know that. And I go, Viv, why didn't you tell me? And she thought she was going to disappoint me. And I was like, I would never be disappointed in that.
Yeah.
So, but Violet, she's all, give me that gun.
she definitely, her and Ann both have that same kind of just
high drive, energy level.
Yeah.
So that'd be kind of, actually, dude, that'd be kind of fun. What we should do, if you want, we'll make the pact. If one of us get drawn for that up there, we could take both girls.
Yeah.
But it depends on if Ann's I don't know if she's quite ready for that yet. Violet's borderline, dude. Like, Violet's borderline. I know we might not come home with anything, but which would be totally fine. But
yeah,
I don't know. She might need another because Ann's
she's 8. She's fixing to turn 9.
Oh yeah, she is pretty young. She was pretty young.
So
not that she couldn't, but well, even if I got drawn, she could still go. I mean,
someone has the size to hold probably a 410, but yeah.
See, and that's why I wish my 28 gauge. I'm looking back now. I was like, man, I wish I would have got a 26-inch barrel.
Yeah.
Because just that 2 inches at 28, even for me, I'm like, man, this thing feels long for a little gun.
Okay.
Like at 12 gauge, I don't even think nothing of it. Like if you hold it, you can. When we're done with this, it's like, man, this thing's long, but so skinny.
Yeah.
I think it almost makes it look longer.
Okay.
And then it's so light. Like, why is this so long if it's so light? But I was like, man, if I would have got 26, I think Violet could have handled that swing better.
Yeah.
But anyways, kind of got sidetracked on that. Back to your hunt. So, and then what else? I don't want to put words in your mouth for you, but like you did some things to prep this year. Like what's some of the things that you purchased, got, not for gear, but also things to help you be better?
So, I ended up getting a couple calls, that you'd recommended. Just something cheap. I think there was like that 3-in-1, and then I think it's a double nasty by Buck Gardner. It's like a $30 call, right? So something really cheap. Probably doesn't sound great, but I don't know any different. So
I used it for years.
It's something I'm gonna blow and just whatever. Learn lessons and learn. And that's kind of the one I'm learning how to call on. Cool. And watch a bunch of videos on that.
I didn't even know you were practicing.
Oh yeah. So
cool.
I've watched a bunch of videos from like surviving duck season.
Yep.
I've just been like digesting his content because he's got a lot of good stuff. That's just I don't know.
It's good.
He's putting stuff out there, just like you basically like here's time for school. Sit down, grab your notepad and take notes. So I've been watching a lot of his stuff, his shotgun series, just learning about that. And not that it was going to change how you shoot, but just kind of like get you more knowledgeable about it.
Yeah.
I didn't get decoys. I ended up buying the jerk rig setup, and got that all set up. My decoy bag, and I had the one that had where you could just carry it out. This would be like a mobile pack.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll get a cart and a sled and stuff like that. Just kind of make it just. I might as well go all out.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting all that. I already had my gun. I did end up getting the Sitka waders. So
was that hard to say? I got it out. I got off my chest.
But so I came from a pair of Rogers waders, and I mean they were good, but the boots were not comfortable.
Well, tell us why they're so good, Michael. I mean, you know me, I just lie and make everything up. So.
Yeah, and I'm just an amateur hunter, right?
Yeah.
So, but for me, my feet are like super particular, like they're just.
You got a wide foot, right? And
I have a wide, flat foot. I got long toes, so it's. Shoes can get really uncomfortable really fast, so I can't just wear any kind of shoe. So the most waders I'd wore that like I felt like my foot was like in those rubber boots, like I'm fixing to pour concrete or something like that. It just does not feel comfortable. I would not walk out with the blind in my waders.
You'd
forget it.
Cart them out there and then put them on.
Yeah. So I tried these ones. After I bought them, I had. I just worn them out to the blind because they're gonna be comfortable enough. I think.
How far a walk was it?
It was 1.8 miles.
One way. Okay.
One way.
Okay.
So, I made a couple extra trips, just to break them in.
Yeah. The walk of shame.
The walk of shame. I did it. So I put about it was over 7 miles on them. So I did 4 trips. So you do the math on that. And I felt good. My feet weren't killing me. I wasn't like I gotta get these things off. They were just it was warm because it was just it wasn't cold or not like that. So, but they felt great.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it was a good purchase for myself. But
what about the shot cam too? Not to bust off the waders, but
the shot cam. So that was one of the things that I thought, like, if I really want to get better, like my shots need to get better. That's if I want to shoot.
We
birds,
all do, right?
Yeah. But I've seen birds. I could add several limits, but my shooting is not there, and I've got to learn how to shoot better. And what am I doing wrong? And so many times I take the shot, and I'm thinking, like, what did I just do? I have no idea what I did. I don't know if I was shooting high, low, behind, right on them. You know, what was I doing? So with the shot cam, I was actually able to see what I was doing wrong.
Did you see a tendency? What your tendency was?
Yeah,
what was it?
I'm shooting over them.
Over top of them.
I'm shooting over top of them.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Because I know I'm supposed to be leading, so I'm trying to, like, really kind of exaggerate. And that I showed you that one shot where the bird just folded.
Yeah.
And that one, I was lined up right on him, and I had a really good lead on him too. So
did it almost surprise you a little bit?
Oh, dude. It felt so good when it's one shot.
Yes.
And the bird just rolls end over
the best
end,
feeling.
dude. It feels good when you just take one shot.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, more often than not, I'm taking I'm shooting 3 shots.
Right.
But like like I said, I'm learning. I'm learning how to shoot and shoulder my gun.
Yeah.
So, and that's just gonna take some more practice.
Oh yeah.
And probably just going to my backyard and just shouldering my gun and just
never gonna have that mastered. I mean. No one is,
probably,
right? Like, you're going to get better, but, like, no one's going to be like, oh, I got to figure it out now and shoot 8 shells or 7 shells every time for limits. Like,
yeah.
It's going to happen.
But I feel like that's going to be, like, my biggest thing is learning what am I doing wrong so I can make corrections because that's something that it's muscle memory is going to develop pretty quickly here. And I've only gone, like, 4 or 5 times total in the last 2 seasons.
Right.
So it's hard.
And watch how many more times you go. You'll probably go more this year than you did the last 2 years combined.
Oh yeah, I will. I'm already, and I've already gone once. I have another rezy coming up here in a couple weeks, so I'm gonna go to that one, and then try the lottery maybe before then. So, but it just even if it could be a slow day or a possibility of a slow day, just getting out there and maybe I see a bird or two. But if I have a couple opportunities, it'll just be me taking in more lessons and just learning more.
Right.
So that's just
every
kind of
time
for me.
And it's actually almost overwhelming. It's like a fire hose, right? The stuff you're going to learn versus the stuff I am, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, because I mean, you're learning like, learn how to scout or learn why birds acted like that or identifying. That's a huge one. Like just identifying birds from a distance instead of after you shoot them. You know, like I know it's a duck, but I don't know what kind. Boom.
Right.
Then you're like, oh, okay, that's what it is. Or Googling it.
Yeah. Oh,
what is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
We've all done that, but I was going to ask you something. So when the gear, the wader or the shot cam. Oh, what birds did you shoot? Like, what was your bag consist of?
A lot of hens. So let's see. I shot 3 green-winged teal hens, 1 blue-winged teal hen, 2 green-winged teal drakes, and 1 hen shoveler. That was
okay.
At the end of my day, it was a hen shoveler.
Yeah. And so are you tracking?
Yeah. No, I'm keeping track of everything and just
you should, dude. Have you seen that? Did you hear me talk about that?
Yeah, I've heard you talk about it, and I'm trying to I try to log some of that stuff. Just like we woke up at 3:00 in the morning. You know, this is what blind we end up taking. I did number 6. You know, at this place. I'm trying to log this information just so I have a log of historical data of where I've been and what it was like,
and then like what weather was like. Oh, okay, maybe that's why. There's so much, and then moon phase. That's huge. Okay. When we hunted a couple weeks ago, in that video that just came out on Monday today, but we're dropping this tomorrow. that I know the moon affected that because they're up all goofing around all night because it's so bright. They can literally fly around and see exactly where they're going, and you'll hear them flying around. When we got there the night before that hunt, we could hear them. Gadwall, mallards, widge, and we could hear them. It was midnight, and they're out there goofing around. Like normally, if it's no moon, and I'm not saying they don't do that, but they're not so active.
Okay,
but that's why full moon hunts can be really rough in the morning, technically, and sometimes you have to adjust when you go out and hunt for that because they might not wake. They'll go to bed later, but then they'll get up later than they normally do. But I mean, not saying I have it all figured out, but I've seen that trend over the years,
Yeah.
But anything that you like learned, like when you're out there, like something you never like, oh, okay. Like it was like kind of a little bit of a learning experience for you. I mean, you probably were learning without knowing, but
yeah, I'm sure there was something, but I mean,
I bet a light came on when you shot that bird, though. As far as you probably led that bird, not that it was so far away, but I bet that whole like, oh, I gotta trust the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think it's too finding if the bird's how far to lead it, depending on how close that bird is.
Because you probably did you overshoot some? You think like in front of them?
Well, so
that was someone else I was talking to that said they were doing that.
I don't know if I was overshooting or not because I don't feel like I'm leading that much if I am. One thing I was looking at my shot cam. I obviously have to learn how to use it. I got about a dozen videos on there, and I was finding like I wasn't really following with the bird's pattern. Like the bird had cut. He was going away, and he was kind of cutting around, but I was still leading him, and so I just shot way off.
Yeah.
So I was like, why'd I do that? I wasn't really looking at the bird. I was like too busy. I don't know if I was looking at my gun or something, the end of my gun.
Or they're just going so fast, they just cut so hard.
But I guess it's just that kind of stuff is afterwards thinking like mostly my shooting because I could have had a limit early on in the morning. And
what about Caleb? Was he just not shooting good?
I think he was.
Or did he just not shoot much?
He was the same as me. We were just kind of just in the morning. There was so many birds flying.
Watching. Yeah.
And we were both just kind of a little reluctant to shoot because we didn't know what we were shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I feel like he was shooting better than I was.
Mm-hmm.
But because I think I shot all my box before he had shot his. Maybe I just took more opportunities. Maybe it seemed like they were kind of on the side of the blind that I was in. They were kind of flying in my spot there. So
yeah, and think about this. I've always told people this. I said, think about how fast a box can go if you shoot 3 shells every time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's barely 8 It's 8 opportunities in 1 shell.
Yeah.
Think about that. 8 birds go by and you shoot 3 every time. You're done in 8 birds opportunities.
Right.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
But if you can, sometimes I try to tell people like if they ask, I'll be like, just shoot 2 shells. Force yourself. Do not shoot that 3rd shell unless you hit it and it's crippled.
Yeah.
But I don't even keep by my own code. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, I do pretty good. In fact, I think that's sometimes why I don't get doubles more than I do, because when I crush that first bird, I call it. And I'm just kind of I'm like, why didn't I shoot again? That other bird was only 30 yards away. I could have doubled right there.
Yeah.
But I've almost got too conservative with that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I think, too, for me is also finding how far a shot is.
Because,
and I guess, 40 yards is probably the max, right?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
And when I sighted my shot cam, I didn't realize until I sighted my shot cam, I had to find a spot that was like 40 yards out or 30-some-odd yards out. And I had like sit diagonally in my backyard. And we don't have a small, like a small by comparison, but for California, it's a fairly larger backyard. So I had to sit diagonally across my backyard to find a spot. I was like,
is that what it says, 40 yards? Or you were just trying to see what 40 yards was?
No, it said like 35 or 40 yards.
Oh, wow. I've been doing it too close.
To sight it in. I'm pretty sure it says that. It may say 30 yards. But when I seen that, I was like
that's a long ways.
That's a long ways. I was if a bird flew that far away, I don't know if I would shoot it.
Exactly.
So to me, I think like, is that even in range?
Right. You probably never shot at one at 40 yards.
No, probably.
It's not. It's kind of not, because when I look at 40 yards too, I'm like when I put those targets up and do like a, pattern test or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, me and Travis were talking the other day. I was at his house and we did the rangefinder and to 40. I go, I never shoot at birds that far ever.
Yeah.
You sometimes really feel like
away.
it,
yeah,
because the bird's small. If they're 30 yards, they probably feel like they're 50.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. I'm like, maybe if I could think of a few times it was a little far, and I guarantee it was no more than 40.
Yeah.
And it felt far.
Yeah.
So and see, that's the thing I think you're learning too, is that's what you're learning without realizing it, is you're learning those distances. Like, yeah, you're not gonna be able to say, oh, that was 36 yards.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is you're feeling like that's not a shot I'm gonna take. Like, you're not going to even raise your gun up because, like, that's too far.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's good, though. That's the biggest thing people don't learn when they're new, is they see a speck up there and they just start banging 3 shells away. It's like, I think people legitimately do think they don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, you think common sense would tell you, like, you're not going to hit that. Like
it might hit him just like a BB gun, right? Just
maybe, yeah, if you're lucky.
Right off of him, maybe.
Yeah.
So they might sting him a little bit. I don't know, but
that's cool. I'm glad you got that resi though. That's so good for new hunt. They get the opportunity because if you're going out there only seeing having one chance, man, it's hard to learn.
Yeah.
Like when I was learning to fly a helicopter, originally when I started, I was doing like once a week.
Yeah.
It was not. I was learning, but it was such a slow pace until I started going 6 days a week, and it was like 2 weeks. I was like, I was finishing up.
Yeah.
You know, so same thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The more you're out there, like I said, even if it's one or two birds or whatever, maybe it's just me learning how to set up all my decoys and everything, and getting out there and putting in the work.
I don't think there's no right way to put decoys out either. I used to think that, and we would argue about where the decoys go.
Yeah.
Now I was like, I think I have an idea like how I liked it because I try to match what the birds do in those that I've seen there.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm like, oh, I've heard a J hook, and I've heard a V, and I've heard this and that, and I've done all that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
It's really not. The birds do what they want to do.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yep.
But then on the refuge too, there's usually a lot of shooting. There's a lot of people. Birds, a lot of times, won't necessarily decoy because right when they're like, oh, they're gonna do it, boom, 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 across the refuge, and they flare out.
Yeah.
Like, Did you see any of that for you guys?
It seems
or
like
was there no one over there by you?
There was somebody that was in the blind next to us, but I don't think. I mean, maybe they're close, maybe they aren't close. But I don't think it was really affecting us. I mean, everything sounded like cannons in the morning. So
yeah.
But I mean, nothing was scaring our birds away. I don't think nothing that was coming by. It wasn't ruining it for us.
Yeah.
If anything, it was kind of pulling birds.
And I know where that other blind is, and that's definitely far enough away. It shouldn't have any effect.
Yeah.
That's what's nice about refuges. You hunt with blinds instead of like free roam because you're not fighting people.
Yeah.
Because free roam, there's rules, but no one abides by them.
Yeah.
So, but I just realized what time it is. I gotta go in for a little work. So I'm glad we could at least do this.
Yeah. We'll do it again. I'm sure. Pretty
soon.
Oh
yeah. We're gonna be doing all seasons
learned,
all season long. So I'm glad to be back, guys, and putting content back out on the podcast. And stay tuned. Got a lot of hunts coming up and a lot of recaps. And they seem to do really good last year, so we're going to keep these going. Me and Thomas have a hunt, but we got a recap of the video that dropped today. So, and if you guys watch the channel and loyal subscribers of it, please hit that notification bell because a lot of people are saying they are not being notified. So I don't know what the deal's going on. So just know we're putting videos out every week. So if you're not getting notifications, just go check the channel because there will be new hunt videos out every week. All right. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys on the next one.